Janet Gray, Principal Gray, Miss Gray, and to some, Jay Gray. In August, I noticed a different Janet. Nothing too noticeable, but something was off. In September, the feeling didn't go away, and I couldn't quite pin it, but I knew it wasn't the same Janet that I had started the last 3 school years with. I finally said to her one morning, "What's going on?" Taken aback, Janet asked what I meant. And then we proceeded to have a conversation about retirement without ever speaking the word retirement. In talking to a few of Janet's close friends in the division, we were able to discern that she has been in education for nearly 37 years. It's hard to imagine that Janet has been working for 37 years because she's not nearly as crusty as she should be. Actually, Janet is a lot of fun. And if you don't know so, she'll tell you. And remind you often. You see, I appreciate the fact that I get to speak on Janet's behalf. Yes, Tom, I'm aware that how much of a speech should be focused on the retiree and not the speaker. Trust me, I'm limiting my eyes and me's. I appreciate this opportunity because I think only 3 other people in the school know Janet like I do, and it's Gemma, Chantal, and Carol, who now has backstage access. Those who know Janet know the many variations of her. For instance, there is the music-loving Janet, the one who is always happy to share her love of Queen. Did you know she also plays piano? Janet looked for every opportunity she could to play music, but she never pushed it on anyone. One of her highlights was accompanying the choir students on piano at a concert in March. There's Janet, who should never play poker. It is well known in our meetings that Janet has a very telling poker face. If you ever brought up an idea to Janet and watched her slow blink as you did so, well, let's just say that she wasn't exactly on board with your idea. I remember the first time I told Janet one of my crazy ideas, and she looked at me like this. And it actually got to a point where she would hold her eyes open like this when I started talking. Then there's "We need to be careful, Janet." At one of our admin meetings, Janet and I started discussing what phrases each of us would say. Without a doubt, Janet's most common line was, "We need to be careful." As a self-proclaimed risk taker, Janet would say this is not indicative of who she is, but we just kept hearing these words from her. This is also the first person I heard use the term CLM, which is career limiting move. And Janet would say, "Oh, John, that's a CLM." And I would respond by saying, "Great, I love it here." And then there's Janet, the hallway clearer. There isn't much to this, but it's just what Janet does when she's clearing a hallway. Actually, I don't even think we've discussed this, so this is news. It looks similar to, but not exactly like, a slow motion version of a pelican taking off sideways. Somehow it works, I think mainly because the students are either scared or confused. So like this: clear the hallways, get to class, goes, everybody get to class. There's the giving and unselfish Janet, the one who makes cookies for the office staff, which are amazing, by the way. Janet treats her VPs incredibly well and is always looking out for what is best for them. Chantal and Gemma can vouch for that. Many times over the last few years, we have had conversations about my future and many arguments about master's degrees. Now let me clarify something I said earlier. I mentioned that 3 people know Janet like I do. That's not to say Janet is not well known by the staff. Actually, she's great at connecting and conversing with the staff. She does so with professionalism that I think is a lost art form. The Janet I know from our admin meetings would swear like a sailor. Not really, but this would be a little more loose when we meet. And I do know where that all comes from. A leader leads by example, and Janet wanted everyone in the school to know that she would be consistent. You can always tell where Janet will be on a subject because she doesn't waver. She definitely doesn't make a decision for popularity's sake. She makes decisions based on what she knows is right, which leads me to my next point. It is Janet the educator. Janet the educator knows what students need, and she is careful in what she sets her focus on. She makes absolutely sure that she looks into every aspect of something before she commits to it. And at the root of all that is a desire to see all students succeed in their education and to give them an opportunity to do something great with their life. So to finish off, I'll provide you with something fun, Janet, because I know you're such a big fan of fun. Here are the top 10 things we saw that were indicators that Janet was retiring. Top 10 things that were indicators that Janet was retiring. Mary Brogan has approved this speech, so don't worry if something bad comes out. Number 10, she would always ask, hey, guess what the weather in Palm Springs is? Number 9, she granted every June ECR day that came her way. The secretaries loved that one. Number 8, she actually canceled meetings. Number 7, she would start saying, that's next year's problem. Number 6, her office was empty at 3:30. Number 5, she stopped straightening her hair at school. Janet and I would appreciate that.
We appreciate it.
Number 4, she started weekday drinking again. In the evenings. Yeah. Number 3, Janet's COVID lasted 2 weeks for some reason. Number 2, she would often say, I don't care what you say, runners are perfect with this outfit. And number 1, she would only tell me to fuck off once per day. Seriously though, Janet, we had a lot of fun. We laughed countless times, and you led with a strength that is admirable. You always knew the answer to every situation, and you weren't afraid to check with teachers or your team when making a decision. Getting to know you over these last 4 years and meeting your family has been an incredible experience. And let's be honest, it was challenging at times because we both know how to piss each other off. Thank you for your fearless leadership and your friendship. And as Tangine would say, 405 hours till retirement.